Okay, so the focus of this week's guitar lesson is on minor triads, and we're going to be looking at minor triads in 3 main positions up and down the neck. We're also going to be attaching embellishments to each of those triads, and you can think of these as like little fill licks that are connected to these triads, so you can use these when you're improvising, and it's great for rhythm, it's great for lead, it's great for if you're writing your own music. But we're going to be breaking all of this down over the course of 2 videos. So in this video, we're going to go through everything that I played in the intro. We're going to talk through these embellishments and all of the triad shapes and all of that. However, in the part 2 video, we're going to go through the fingerstyle portion of it. So that's the more specific fingerstyle piece where we talk about the thumb and the left and right hand coordination and all of that. So you can think of this lesson as really 2 birds in 1 stone. You're getting a fingerstyle composition, and you're also getting this knowledge on these minor triads and the embellishments that go along with them. So you can practice all of this in a standalone composition. You don't need a jam track. It's a great way to sit around the house, practice a fingerstyle thing, and then work on these triads and really try and understand them. So if you'd like to get that part 2 video, as well as the tablature, and also access the on-screen tab viewer, which is interactive, allows you to highlight sections, and you can slow down the playback, and you can loop sections and all of that. You can get those things by going to activemelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and do a search for EP459. Okay, so let's talk through this song. This song is played in A minor, and as I mentioned, we're not going to really be going through the fingerstyle portion in this. We're going to be really focusing more on the triads. You know, obviously you can watch my hands, and some of you can just figure it out probably just from watching this, but anyway, I just wanted to re-mention that. Okay, it's in A minor, and the first thing I do right out of the gate is I play the A minor triad in 3 positions. So it goes like this. And then I go back to the second one. So let's look at these 3 positions here, and let's talk them through. This first one, and by the way, it's kind of 2 things are going on. I've got my thumb hitting the open A string, right? And then these 3 fingers are playing the top 3 strings. So strings 1, 2, and 3, right? So that's the grip I'm using with my right hand, right? Now, this first triad is very easy to play. You just use your index finger and bar the first 3 strings on the 5th fret. That's your A minor triad. And you can think of this, I like to connect these back to first position chords. So you can think of this kind of like the cage system for minor chords. But this would be like the E minor shape, if we're just thinking about shapes. Now, I'm playing an A minor chord there. If I'm playing the full bar, I'm playing all 6 strings. But if we look at that, we dissect it and look at just what's going on the top 3 strings, and that's where most of what we're going to be playing is by the way, it's just these top 3 strings. But that's what that minor triad looks like. So when you think of your E minor chord in first position, and you look at what's going on with strings 1, 2, and 3, they're behind the nut there. That's why I'm considering this the E minor shape. So anyway, that's the first triad. And even without going any further, let's look at what we can attach to this if we think about embellishments. The obvious one, the one that I use all the time is, so keeping the bar there, I can add this 7th fret, in this case for this A minor, 7th fret 1st string. I can also come up to the 8th fret 1st string. So you have, now some of you are going, okay, I'm sort of following you, but what do you do with that? Well, if you're hanging out on a triad, look at the things you can do just with that little bit of information. Now, I'm doing that fingerstyle. Some of you go, well, I'm not a fingerstyle player. Just do it with your pick. You know, there's just like little things, little fills and things you can add to that. Now, if we go down to the 2nd string, you can use those same notes. You can do 8th fret, 7th fret. So now you've got, right? And then down on the 3rd string, you've got this 7th fret. You hear that quite a bit. So these are just a few ideas connected to this one minor triad. Now here's a really cool thing. By the way, some of you are going, well, what are these notes? If you know your modes, this would be the Dorian mode. You can think of that as just the Dorian scale. If you don't know modes, just don't worry about it. But that's really what's going on there. The other thing is, let's connect our minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1, to this shape. So it would be like this. Right? There's pattern 1 of your minor pentatonic scale. You can see that this little minor triad lives right inside of that pattern of that scale. So that's your minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1. So anyway, all of that is really connected to this triad, right? Now the last thing I want to mention about this triad is that's an A minor triad. You need to know where your A note is. This is important. For all 3 of these, you need to know where that A note is so that you can find it based on the note. So that in this case, it's on the 1st string. So the note on the 1st string is the A note, therefore that's an A minor chord. It's going to make more sense as we get into the other ones. So the next one looks like this. Now this would be, I consider this the D minor shape. So if we think of our 3 minor chord shapes down in 1st position, we have our E minor, our A minor, and our D minor. Those are the 3 main shapes that are unique. They're different from each other. So when we look at that D minor shape, if I were to play that up here, put the A in the bass, that's an A minor. So this is an A minor, and this is an A minor. They're same 3 notes, the notes are in different order. So we're switching the notes around. So in this case, the A note is on the 2nd string. So that's our A note, therefore that's our A minor chord. So if you want to play this voicing of the chord, you have to find the note name on your 2nd string. That note name determines this chord voicing. So we have an A minor, and we have an A minor up here. Now I'm going to add 1 finger. Notice my ring finger's just sort of hanging out. I'm just going to go ahead and put it down. Now I realize this is making 4 notes. We're out of a triad, but you can see that it's actually kind of 2 triads, 2 minor triads. But what I've got here is the 10th fret 4th string. So now I've got this triad, and then on top of that I've got this one. It's really just the same chord. It's an A minor chord, but I think of that as like 2 shapes, and I use this triad sometimes just on its own, and we're going to use that in this composition in a minute. And then on top of that you've got this one. Another kind of interesting way to look at it is these 3 notes, strings 2, 3, and 4, are the same as these 3, right? It's just played in a different position. Okay, the other thing I want to mention about this shape, this D minor shape, one embellishment that I use quite a bit is to take my index finger, move it down a fret. So you have this. Right? So that's just another little thing you can add to that. The last of these 3 looks like this. It's another A minor triad. We're playing this up here. And this would be, it's like a little stair step. It's the 12th fret 1st string, 13th fret 2nd string, 14th fret 3rd string. And in this case, our A note is on the 3rd string. So let's review. We have A note on the 1st string, A note on the 2nd string, A note on the 3rd string. And you can use those, obviously, to identify these chord voicings. So if I know that this on the 3rd string, if I know that that's an A note, I can just let my fingers fall into place, and then I'm playing an A minor triad. Now an embellishment that I often use off of this triad is to take my pinky and put it up here. In this case it'd be on the 15th fret 1st string. I could use that in a lead, I could go, or I could use it in a chord, like just strumming a chord, that kind of thing. But it's just another embellishment. So you've got embellishments off these 3 shapes. Now let's get into the song a little bit. So let's take it from the beginning. We have, and remember the thumb just hangs out on the 5th string, the open 5th string, right on the beat. It doesn't throw out any kind of weird timing. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in that case I slid it down. That's another embellishment. You could do that with any of these triads, by the way. And then we go back to the second one. Okay. Now after that I went So that's when we go to the E chord, the E7 chord. But let's look at this little fill lick. Now, I was thinking minor pentatonic scale pattern 1, which I've just explained to you, and you can see that that minor pentatonic scale is attached to this triad. So it starts off with, we'll just ignore the bass part for now, the thumb, but it starts off on the 8th fret 1st string, and then we go down to the 5th fret. And then I go down to the 8th fret 3rd string, and then 5th fret 2nd string. I'll explain this note in just a second, but it's... And then after that, it's 5th fret 3rd string, 7th fret 4th string. So you're doing that, you're playing while you've got the bass going. Okay, now this note is not in minor pentatonic scale pattern 1, but it is in the blues scale. The blues scale is just the minor pentatonic scale, but with the addition of one extra note. So that's what this note is, and that's called the blue note. So that's that extra note in 2 octaves. So anyway, now watch this. That gets us into the E7 triad. So here's another triad we're going to learn. I'm going to use my middle finger and slide on, this is on the 4th string. We're going from the 5th fret up to the 6th fret. And then my index finger goes down on the 5th fret 2nd string. And at the same time my index finger goes down to the 5th fret 2nd string, my thumb hits the open 6th string. So now our thumb's going to be hanging out on the 6th string because we're playing over the E chord, and that's an E note. So while I keep that down, my pinky comes here to the 7th fret 3rd string, and that's the triad I'm playing. These 3 notes. Now some of you are going, okay, that's an E7 chord. I get this 7, but like what is that? Well, let's think of our C7, or think of our C chord, first position C chord. If we were to play it up here, and then put our pinky down on the 7th fret 3rd string and play those middle 4 strings, that would be an E7 chord. And some of you know that chord voicing. So this is all I was doing, was playing that minus the 4th string. So, and I was building up to it like this. I like the sound of that. Okay, so we're going to hang out on that E7 for a little bit, and I'm going to play this. These are all just E7s, really. It's just embellishment. So we're starting with this E7 down here, the one we just learned. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to bar the first 4 strings on the 9th fret, but I'm going to play strings 2, 3, and 4. Now some of you are going, well, what is that? Well, remember we're playing an E chord. We're playing the E7, but this is an E chord. It's just an E chord. Think of your E chord using the A shape out of the cage system, right? Or the G shape, however you want to think of it. But it's those strings 2, 3, and 4 with the E in the bass. And then I can put my ring finger up here on the 10th fret 1st string to play an E7. And that's the same as A chord, first position, A7, right? It's the same thing. You're doing it up here now. Because remember, this is off the A shape, starting to connect a little bit. You got your E chord, E7, and then I can come up as an embellishment to this 12th fret 1st string, which is also an E note. So let's take it from that E. We have... So here we go. Right? And then I went like this. So these are just notes out of the A minor pentatonic scale, since this song is in A minor. So it's just 12, 10, 8 on the 1st string. And then down to the 10th fret 2nd string. And this would be like pattern 2 of your minor pentatonic scale. You can see that now, hopefully. So it's just... Now, when I hit this 10th fret 2nd string the second time, I went ahead and put my fingers in position like this, so that I can go like this. And what I'm doing is I'm making this A minor chord. Remember, we've already talked about that? On strings 4, 3, and 2. So it's... Now I'm going to put my index finger down on the 8th fret 1st string, and we're going to play strings 1, 2, and 3. Again, this is your D minor shape. So it's like... Now, I already talked about that. That's your D minor shape. it's the A minor chord, and that embellishment was just moving your index finger down. So it's just kind of repeating what we've talked through. Right? Now we're going to come up to this one, and I'm using the same things we talked about. It's your A minor shape up here, the little stair step one. This would be your A minor shape out of first position if we're thinking about just shapes. Strings 1, 2, and 3. And there's the embellishment, pinky up here on the 15th fret, first string. Now watch this. We switched to the 4 chord, the minor 4 chord. That's a D minor. Now I'm playing the open D string with my thumb on the open 4th string. And then I'm doing the same thing that I did for the A minor thing. I've got the same shape because I'm borrowing the first 3 strings there on the 10th fret. And hopefully you're seeing this. Oh yeah, that would be like a D minor using the E minor shape. Starting to see that we're just taking the same things we've done now and just repurposing them. There's the embellishment, right? Like we talked through the embellishments here. You can start to see them. Now watch this. The rest of these embellishments are going to be ones we've already talked through. Right? So I come up here, I keep the bar on the 10th fret. I come up here with my pinky to the 13th fret, 2nd string. And then we go down to the 12th fret. And then watch this. That sounds pretty cool. That's that same minor triad that we've talked through on strings 4, 3, and 2. It's the only one that's not on the top 3 strings. This is on 4, 3, and 2. But I make that shape, and then I come up here and grab that 12th fret 2nd string with my pinky. It's another embellishment off this shape. So you have and then down to your E7 triad. And then now this one's new. What is this? We're on the top 3 strings. I'm making the D7 shape. You can think of it that way, but sliding it up 2 frets. This would be your E7 in this position. It's like here's your E chord, right? Using the D shape. Here's your E7 using the D7 shape. Makes sense, right? And then we go back to the A minor. And then I did the same like little, it's like a little turnaround here. Or like a little tag. There's the embellishments that we've talked about. I come back to the D minor one. Back to the A minor one. Same thing, right? So the D minor is just the bar, 12th fret, 1st string. Down to your 5th fret for your A minor. And then I just played an E chord. But I hammered on to that open 3rd string to the 1st fret, from the open 3rd string to the 1st fret. Back to this E7, and then there's your A minor. And watch this. Kind of a classical sounding ending. A minor, E7, back to your A minor. Notice the thumb followed as well though. A, E, A on the thumb. And that's the whole composition. Hopefully that's given you some ideas for ways to kind of see these minor triads, and obviously you have the dominant 7 triads as well, but once you can see them, and you can see them in different spots, when you're playing lead, you can start working these into your lead playing. You can just take the notes out of them and arpeggiate them, or you can start using them in your rhythm playing. But I really wanted you to have this as just a way to kind of see them in a fun little practice exercise so that you can practice playing them. All right, we'll see you premium members in the part 2 video.